assuming it actually works. We're hoping.
It's first time trying this Stargate. We don't know if we'll contact strange new beings. Oh, there. They are here.
Or humans in no alien faces.
Well, yes, that too.
Let's see that. Yep, it's working, so we can add now. So that's good.
Hey, guys.
Stuart, you're not in uniform. Did you forget the memo?
No, see, I'm betraying my fandom. So, got red alert. That's okay. No, I don't have a uniform yet, so that's fine.
I have everything. I'm wearing all of it, even the stuff that you can't see.
It's with the Stargate underwear.
I was just thinking that. I'm glad you said
it. Anyway, guys, yeah, so we're going to have a little bit of fun and just kind of chat about Stargate today. So, at least Season 1.
Yes. And we want to keep it very focused with Season 1 discussion, including a lot of what-ifs. As in, Stuart doesn't necessarily know where it's going, so I'd love to hear what he thinks, where he thinks, because that's going to be, I know the season, you guys know the season, so that'll be fun for me personally. I'll start showing you can talk about the Dem Super People and Dem Super Chats that the Super People do chat.
Yes. And he's right, Super Chats are important, and I'm going to emphasize that right now. We already have 5 of them. Which we'll get to in a second here. I think we have 5. And it's a great way to support the channel. Also, joining the channel at the rank of Commander, Captain, or Admiral. Or maybe General in this case. Anyway. So, yeah, you can do that to help us out. Or go over to Patreon/Trekyards. And there you go. So, yeah, a lot of people have been excited to hear my thoughts on Stargate. And they said, they kind of envy me because it's my first time watching it. And all this. Don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of episodes of Stargate, like over all the seasons and even Atlantis. So it's not like there's spoilers or anything really coming, but there's probably a few little things here and there. But yeah, just to, I've always thought that'd be cool to go back and watch specific things like movies and or TV shows for the first time. So it's kind of fun that everybody's like, you're going to love it. And they're asking if I want to watch Atlantis and stuff afterwards. And yes, absolutely, I will. So, yeah. Is there a P90 nearby? That's not until Season 3, so no, Sean. Samuel does have a P90, though. Airsoft one. And it's his favorite gun. So, and he fired a real one in Vegas. So, there you go. But yeah,
I can't actually share at the moment. I'm not given the box to share on any Facebook page, so that's fun.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh well. I'm sure Neil, the P90 bit nearby. No, season 3. Well, the end of season 3 and season 4. So no, obviously MP5 is a correct weapon for season 1. So not my favourite, but it's here.
I already addressed that.
Good. Good. Well, when we do that retrospective, I'll have to swap to P90, which is much better. Much better.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm literally just sitting here with a rifle, just like, yeah, just act passive, just in case we. Well, it's in case we get called off world, Stuart. I mean, we've got to be ready, haven't we? Well, one of us has got to be ready. I've got to look out for you. I've got the Beretta and the MP5. You're there with a shirt, so I've got our back while you just faff. Yeah, you'll stand up and say, alert, alert. I'll say, yeah, thanks for that, buddy. I'll do all the work then.
I could have gone and got my Beretta 9mm, which they used to, but I decided not to. But I didn't know you were going to call me out for it. So, that's not cool.
So, Stuart.
Yes.
Give me your history on the Stargate franchise then, pre this week, last week.
Well, it's one of those things that I caught episodes here and there or whatever on TV.
You never watched it live? You just sort of just didn't in the late 90s, late 2000s, early 2010s? You just didn't watch it live?
No, I had a life and was not a nerd.
You watched Star Trek, didn't you?
If you can believe that. Yeah, well, that's Star Trek.
So you didn't have a life and you were a nerd. So.
I was watching a pre-established franchise. I wasn't going to watch a new one because I was driving around my Camaro in those days doing cool things.
Watching Star Trek. Yeah. DS9 Season 4. Yeah.
So I'd catch the odd one here and there on TV. I've seen quite a few episodes of all the series, except for Universe. I don't think I've seen... I think I've seen maybe a few minutes of an episode of Universe.
That's definitely a wait until you finish everything and then go into that one, because it uses everything.
Yeah. So I mean, and then met Sylvia. Sylvia was a fan of it, and she watched it all. And the deal was I was going to sit down with her and watch them, and then she'd ask me, "Do you want to watch Stargate tonight?" I'm like, not tonight. We'll watch something else or whatever. So she started watching it on her own when it was on Netflix, and eventually, so I missed out on the. It's more fun to watch it with somebody. So I didn't want to jump in kind of midway through the season where
wrong sort of show for that.
Yeah, so she watched all of binge watched all of SG-1, and and so like I said, I'd walk in and catch the odd little end of an episode or whatever here and there, but that's about it. Never really got into it. I wasn't a big fan of the movie. I didn't really like James Spader in it. I don't think he did a fantastic job, and Kurt Russell's a little bit too edgy and brooding and hardcore, and I just didn't enjoy the movie. There's lots about the movie I didn't like.
Once you get to like season 3, you're like, I mean, these guys are so much better than the movie people.
Yeah.
And the movie people are a good starting point, and obviously the characters are in the same place at the start of the season. But it's just like you can't equate an hour and a half of screen time, which they share, to
That's why
380 hours of TV that is incredibly ensemble. So obviously the TV ones are much better versions of the characters. That's
why I like Richard Dean Anderson as O'Neill with 2 L's, because O'Neill in the movie had 1 L, and
that's the joke. Technically, they could be different characters. Technically,
well, in the one episode, it's not that long ago, he said that's O'Neill with 2 L's. There's another guy with 1 L, and he's not quite as nice as me or something. I forget what he said exactly, but yeah,
that's quite clever.
And we should probably read the super chats before we get too far ahead of ourselves here.
Thank you.
Ozzy Medeiros, $5. What name did they call their space name? Did the actor Dean Anderson want to call these? Yeah, he wanted to call it the Enterprise, but it was the Prometheus. It's not a trivia test, man. Olivia Julius, $5. 25 likes before the stream gets started. Great job. Let's see if we can make it to 50. Absolutely we can. We got 84 people watching. Guys, hit that like button. Ozzy, $5.
Thanks.
Today's episode is brought to you by SG-1 Fertilizers. Skeleton hands. Fleet Pop Swiftback, $5. Zats, staff weapons, and P90s galore. Cole to Fleet Paws, Shot Shack, and get whatever you need to destroy the Goa'uld forever.
Goa'uld, Stuart. Say it right.
That's what I said. Goa'uld. I say it like O'Neill. Goa'uld.
Goa.
Goa. Go wild, African lion safari.
Hey, it's closer than I thought you were going to get, so that's fair. That's fair.
Olivia Julius, $5. Hey, at Trekyards, is there a line at the Stargate? No, we gunned them all down. And let's see, Olivia Julius, another $5. Do you want to be around Trekyards all the time, but can't watch them in the shower? Buy a Trekyards branded shower curtain from the Teespring store. Yeah, do we have one of those? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. We're caught up.
Great. So my history in Stargate is a bit more. I was got a bit more.
Layered.
Hey, that's a good word. A bit more positive than yours. You've never been a big fan of overall sci-fi, more just what you like. So it's fair that you wouldn't dig into something. It's funny, the movie was a film that was put on to entertain me while my parents visited a family friend of ours. It was on a few VHSs, so I remember I'd watched that film multiple times, but never all of it. Like, as in, we'd always just watch bits of it, so I remember certain parts of it really well. Although it's not really appropriate for, like, 7-year-olds, because some pretty, like, menacing. It's not graphic, but there's some menacing bits. If you see the movie, especially if you're younger, the way they play the Jafar are quite menacing, and Ra's a bit, creepy. Anyway, so that was already in my psyche. But we didn't actually watch the show until, again, a different family friend that my dad actually helped to get into the country. We were at their house, and they were watching what I don't remember when in the history it was, but I remember the scene, and therefore I know what episode and season it was in. It was a season 1 episode, or season 2 episode. And we watched a bit of it, and instantly Dad was like, "Oh, we're gonna watch this." And I was being 10. I'm like, "Okay, I have no choice. Cool." And so we started watching it, and then I think we were trying to catch up until season 4. I think we watched 5 to 10 on live, and then it went off the network TV 5 episodes from the end of season 10. And so I had to illegally download 2 because I couldn't get them anyway, and I managed to watch the last one live at a friend's house who didn't like Stargate, but I convinced him with like sweets to watch because I wanted to see it live, and I did, at least UK live. And obviously Atlantis I watched, and that was my jam. That got me to costuming, wanted to have an Atlantis costume, and then Universe I watched, and then afterwards I then got to know people that worked on behind the scenes of the show a little bit. So I've got things from Stargate, as you know. I've got an extra appreciation from it. I've met like 90% of the cast from the shows. I've met everyone from SG-1, everyone from Atlantis, pretty much. Most of the secondaries are 10 years of events, more than 10 years of events in the UK. Quite a few of them remember me because I've met them a few times. I've interviewed quite a few of them. I've did a documentary with 6 of them. So it's a very personal franchise for me. And I think it's one of those ones that ages absurdly well. The only thing that dates season 1, like even its effects are pretty good still, is the monitors. They're the massive monitors. If you somehow could CGI them to like flat screens, you wouldn't think, oh, that was filmed late 90s. Like the hairstyles, the costumes, none of it's all very abstract to the day. So it holds up absurdly well, and I know why they can't remaster it in HD so well, but when eventually it comes down to that, it'll be a show that really like stands the test of time better than I think most do or will.
Yeah, and I gotta give them props. I mean, they're props, and their sets are fantastically done. They go really out of their way to make some cool visuals for that show, and I really appreciate that. I do like all the. I'm an Alcar's junkie, but that also means just user interface.
Yep.
Computer-wise, and there's some really cool ones there too. So, yeah, I mean, not that their costumes are very original; they're just military, but that's cool.
But they are also, you know exactly what they are from a distance, from close up. There's nothing else, any other sci-fis that have exactly the same thing.
But they keep changing color. God damn it! They're green, then there's like a sand camouflage one, and then there's in season 2 anyway.
That's
there's
not
a few
them
different
changing color. That's just specific situations call for specific uniforms, Stuart. That's them being attention to detail. Come on, Stuart.
Fair enough. Olivia Julius, $5. We got to 50. Can we get to 100? Hashtag make Olivia pay. 92 people. We should be able to get close to 100 at least. So hit the like button. Olivia Julius, $10.
Thank you.
When you grow up, you dream of becoming a Starfleet captain. However, that's years away. So instead, experience a better way now with your own ship from Eaglemoss. Use code Trekyards10 when ordering for 10% off. That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot that's really great about this show.
I think the writing is writing and its acting are its biggest 2 things. Because its stories can either be hit or miss, but there's always good writing within the story. It's the story that lets it down, not the writing within the story. If that makes sense.
Yeah. More often than not, yeah.
Yeah, and they lucked out hard with their cast. I mean, you've only seen up until near the end of season 2, but I mean that 4, the chemistry of that 4, and each pair has dynamics that are like unique, and then each 3 has again, you've only experienced a bit of it, but it's very, very, very lucky with what they had. Yeah, and did you know that Richie Anderson was the first one tapped to play O'Neill, and they kind of helped sell it partially on his name recognition because he did MacGyver. That was a big chat at the time. And he was a producer. He was actually pretty heavily involved for quite a few years. And so he was basically like the Picard of Star Trek Picard, but less well-known credited. So, if he wanted a break, they'd have a break. And if he said, I want to put more money into this episode, he could do that. I mean, he was much more chill. He just wanted the best quality thing possible. But he, a lot of power that guy had, actually.
Yeah, and it's funny because we're watching season 1, obviously, and get through a few episodes a night sometimes. And it's like, Jesus Christ, can O'Neill not get a break? Because one episode this happens to him, next episode something else happens to him. It's like, Jesus Christ. And now it's kind of filtering now that they're in season 2. Stuff's happening to other people. Yeah. So
they didn't.
It's fine,
they didn't know who the character of Carter and Tilt could be, whereas they had the characters of Daniel and O'Neill. So obviously in season 1 they relied on those guys to carry more of the episodes because obviously they had some backing. But until you established, like, what would Carter say? Well, we've just invented her 6 weeks ago. We don't know quite yet. So I think that's part of why that happened. But yeah, should we get into the season so far? Although before, have you got a list of episodes up, like episode titles up? Okay. First of all, straight away, what was your favourite, do you think, of this season? Like, what stands out as being like that was my? I don't say it was the best episode, but it was your favourite instantly. First reaction, gut reaction. I haven't talked about this at all, so I'm really excited to hear what you think.
Let me look through.
And I've got pictures of all of them, guys, so I can. We'll know what they are.
Well, that's probably a toss-up between two.
Okay.
Solitudes and There But For the Grace of God.
So back to back at the end of the season.
Well, not back to back. Tin Man's in between.
Oh, so which one's Solitudes? Oh, Solitudes is the Tolan one.
Really?
I thought Solitudes was in the Antarctica.
Yeah, it's really fun. The other gate. Yeah.
And then.
Yeah.
Tin Man's in
there.
between?
Yeah. Solitude's in Tin Man, and There But. Yeah. Which?
Didn't think that was the order. Oh, okay. It must be different on the DVD. Okay.
Yeah.
So threw me for a loop there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, those two would probably be.
Any particular reason? Are those like definitely like those are my favorite by a long way, or just those like the two that stand out because you like a lot of the other ones? They're just like absolutely the best.
I liked a lot of them. There's one or two that I'm like, nope, could never watch that again, and I'd be perfectly happy with. But
I mean, are those like absolute standouts or just cream of the crop?
cream of the crop.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
What
I don't
one
think there's
do you
really
think-
any standout ones because there's a lot of good ones. So
What do you think was your least favorite? We'll go in order. But what do you think was the one you enjoyed least? Like you say, you could stand to not watch again.
take a look here.
But the two you picked are good actually, and for very good reasons as well. The two good ones. Just brightening up the screen.
The Nox,
Ooh, okay.
Hathor, or
Ooh.
Singularity.
Okay.
Those ones didn't do much
Interesting.
for me. Didn't do much for me.
Interesting. That's not what I thought you were going to say, so I'm quite actually impressed.
Jersey, hello, $5.
Hey.
There's a YouTuber called Fail Whale 34 who's been reviewing SG-1, and every time O'Neill gets hurt, infected, etc., he says O'Neill's been compromised.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Okay, well let's start with Children of the Gods then. The pilot, but obviously it was a series run at that point, but they made it first. We are well, actually, no, let me. Why don't you summarize in a sentence? How do you summarize Children of the Gods, both parts?
Stargate 2, the sequel.
How do you summarize in 2 sentences? That's good though. That's fair.
Let's see. In 2 sentences. I mean, I don't know. The fact that Daniel agrees to go back with them kind of. I mean, it has to happen, obviously, but it's kind of like, would you really do that?
Well, he wants to save his wife.
I know, but I know.
You've lost everything.
And the kid. The kid wants. O'Neill wants to save the kid.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah, I guess.
It's his family. It's his wife and his son, basically.
Yeah. It wasn't. Those 2 episodes, honestly, weren't that much of a standout for me. They were just kind of like like setting things up. It was.
Yeah.
And since I wasn't a big fan of the movie, I was kind of like, oh, all right, well, this is going to be a thing. But yeah, it did. After that, it gets rolling. So
yeah, one of the things that so Stargate is a weird one because it's probably the best TV. Cause it's a TV series based off a movie, which for the most part doesn't work for the most part. But they took the movie concept, which is actually a good concept, but it's quite insular, and they took it, said, okay, we're gonna like we always say for TOS, we're gonna scratch away the SD and see what's underneath it. Let's expand the mythology. So rather than just the Gould are aliens themselves, and there's a weird confusing thing. They're now parasites, which allow you to have this big in-depth culture of having the subservient Jafar, which have larval Gould, the head Gould who are taking all this development, which obviously we develop later on. And when Apophis walks through the gate in the first scene. And he says to Jack O'Neill, his eyes glowed. I thought he said Ra was dead, and it's like, well, it must be that guy because we've only seen one. It's like, no, there are more, and it's like, oh shit, there are more. How many more? There's a lot more. And so if you found a movie to re-experience, this show tried to keep it very faithful. I mean, they had a very good replica of all the sets. I mean, considering this much smaller budget, it's like, yes, you do feel like you're reliving the scenes, reliving the movie, which they could just ignore. They could have done cheaply, whatever. It's really well executed. Yeah, and what do you think of then, like the Jack and the Daniel character and the Carter characters? And like, what was your first impression of those from the TV show?
Well, actually, I think Michael Shanks did a fantastic job of capturing the feel of the original Daniel. I never thought he did when I saw parts of the show over the course of the last few years. I'm like, oh, that's a totally different character. How the hell is that supposed to be Daniel? But going straight into this, even the same hairstyle and everything, he's definitely got that feel, and it definitely, you can feel that throughout all of season one. O'Neill, like I said, I liked a lot better. I like Kurt Russell. I think he's great. But in that movie, I was just not a fan of that character.
Well, he's almost just a stereotypical military guy. There's not much, apart from his son bit, which is quite big, but it's very stereotypical. There's not that many layers to him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And as for Carter, I mean, she's great, so...
And that's pretty early in the strong female character. Like, apart from her one line about the testicles, apart from that, she's not played like woman be strong. She's played as person be strong. Oh, she's a girl. Okay.
Yes.
And that's how you should play that sort of role. And she just is strong. And the way, that's how most women are in the show. And it's like, good.
And the fact she says we MacGyvered something together. Awesome.
Yes.
That was brilliant.
Yes.
And then there was also I saw the version with the nudity, so that was also very good.
And that was actually Michael Shank's real wife.
Yeah.
Oops. What do you think of Apophis? I mean, from the initial start, the new villain, the new Ra.
I think he's a douche.
Ooh, why is he a douche?
It just looks like one. Looks like an asshole.
Okay, fair.
I didn't like the kid from the movie either.
That guy's really nice, by the way. I had like a 3-hour talk with him.
I'm
once.
sure.
He's a legit, really nice guy. He's actually a massive Stargate fan too. Like, he really likes the show. Skara. I mean, was he a good villain? Do you think that he's going to be a foil? Because he's set up to be quite powerful. Has his entire planet to his own in Chulak, has his army, and...
I didn't really think about that too much, but yeah, I mean, he's a good enough villain. He's somebody that you just want to hate. He just looks like an asshole.
You buy it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they don't need the glowing eyes to do that either, by the way. He just...
An extra layer. Layer. And then Chulak, we introduced to Tilk, and the whole, the first thing they do out of the gate, get captured, because they don't know anything, do they? This is their first other planet. What do you think about the introduction of Tilk? I mean, as in his first introduction, this warrior that chooses to turn against everything he's ever known. How do you think that was all played out, the escape?
Is that right? The one thing I thought right away is, how the fuck did they see out of those helmets?
Well, easily. It's like Iron Man.
I know, but the big... It's like right in front of their face, and there's no slits or anything you can see. Anyway. I mean, the actor, not the character.
Oh, yeah. Vision. Be serious.
Anyway, I really didn't think much... I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I'm trying to remember back, and I remember the speech that O'Neill gave him.
This is why I'm making sure I ask you now before you're biased by everything after. This is why I want you to stop at the end of season 1.
Tell me I'm going to be biased.
Well, I mean, you can't think like you were in season 1 because you're in season...
I know. Thor was an alien, $2. Hold on. Core AI. Is it Core AI or
Core AI? They say in the episode.
Torment of Tantalus, the Nox, and Fire and Water. And let's see, we got Olivia Julius as well, $5. Are you liking this episode of Fleet Yards? Make sure you like the Fleet Yards Facebook page. Yes, check out the Facebook page of Fleet Yards.
Fleet Yards coming out on Saturday as well, so check that out. So
yeah,
the pilot, it set up the world for you, would you say? It was a good... I mean, obviously we've seen a lot of pilots. Were you, like, into the situation? Is it clear? You know the characters were going forward?
I love that it was a sequel to the movie. Like, direct sequel to the movie.
Stargate 2.
A lot of series that work off something else don't do that necessarily. This one, I think it really helped this one, because I had seen the movie a few times over the last... in my lifetime. And I just, like I said, I'm not a fan. So this was kind of for me for the first little while. It's like, okay, well, I know what happens. I know what comes later. They form a team, and it's going to be... There's a whole 10 seasons, so... I kind of sat through it. If I hadn't known that, it's probably one of the reasons I didn't watch this show back in the day, because I watched this and it's exactly like the movie. Not a fan.
That's amazing.
So I think that's
bias. That's yeah. That's yeah. That's probably gonna be how we're gonna be with New Voyagers a bit, or whatever it's called, the new show. It's like, well, it's not correct timeline. We're gonna have bias. You can't help it sometimes. But then you have the pilot part 3, which I don't think actually having an episode which is also a sequel to this, like for an era where continuity and continuing stories isn't the major thing. To have a 3-part pilot, but now it'd be a very character focused one with Kowalski. What do you think of that one then?
I thought this starts the trend of stealing Star Trek episode names. Get me with it. By the way, I like the Stargate L-cars with the widescreen art. I like that better than the boxed. I like the widescreen better. We need to adjust our L-cars. Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work with mine because I've only got so much length space, but yeah.
Anywho, oh shit. TK, $2. I got my mom to start SG-1 and it was Star Trek only book.
Oh,
what?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
She only watched Star Trek and then...
With Kowalski. Good episode. I don't remember a whole lot. No, I mean, it's the typical your friend gets abducted or taken over, whatever. Yeah. And I liked the whole Teal'c shouldn't go on the team, and yes, he should go on the team, and that was great. The Kowalski thing I saw coming. That's the problem I've found with a lot of these episodes so far. I call things right before they happen in the show. I'm like, this is going to happen. And like literally a minute later, or 2 minutes later, or 10 minutes later it happens.
Well, it means they're setting stuff up correctly.
Well, yeah, but you shouldn't be able to guess some things.
It depends if you're trying or not. I mean, that's with all shows, isn't it? If you're really thinking about it.
I'm not knocking your show. You don't have to get defensive.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
And I want you to say is everything you think, Stuart. That's why it's interesting.
Yeah. This one I don't remember a whole lot. I just know that he turns at the end, and I love the way they kill him.
Yeah.
Oh, half his head's gone. That's great.
And the new guy kills all your guys the second day. It's like, oh damn. Like he went bad, but it's pretty. Oh, yeah.
I've got questions about the Stargate and things in the universe. Pretty
much guarantee I have answers.
I've asked Sylvia this question. Is it possible to have sex through a Stargate?
Yes, but it would be delayed because there's a slight delay, and obviously you couldn't see.
One person on one side, and then, you know what I'm saying? I think of these things. This is what I think when I watch shows like this.
Actually, no, because you can put part of yourself through a Stargate, but it does actually have to dematerialize all of you to rematerialize all of you. So no, you can't. Sense. But you can just have part of you in. It's a process that like buffers you, and then you go in one go. Yeah.
And we'll have to talk about the Zat guns at some other point, maybe near the end of this.
Yeah, that's when Till goes to see his son. That episode. That's season 5 anyway. Kowalski's a good one because you don't think Kowalski is set up well as a character, and then he's killed. It's like, oh, it's like killing Tasha in episode 2. You're like, but we just set her up. What? Oh, okay, yeah. And it's quite a cheap episode for a second episode, which helps save the budget. All right, then we have one of the least liked in the franchise, Emancipation.
This is where I said to you.
Written by the same guy that wrote the TNG racist one. Good stuff.
Code of Honor.
Yep. Same.
Well, and this is when I said to you, hey, wow, Stargate's just Xena. Woohoo! Because this is the same kind of shit you see in Xena. Go to a different village, and there's different things that happen. But yeah, we got the Mongolians, Mongol descendants. I gotta say, Carter looked fine in that episode. I liked what she was wearing, dress-wise. I don't think you see a lot of her cleavage ever. So,
well, they wouldn't in Mongolian times. It was different levels.
Yeah. James Bruin, 5 pounds. Was it ever explained why Air Force pilots formed the SG teams? Would have thought it would be more an Army thing.
It's because they're the ones that got they're the ones that got secret access to it. Because there was an Air Force thing, they thought the gate would be a weapon. The Air Force does more, I guess, special weapon division stuff, and they kept hold of it.
Yeah.
There are subdivision teams that bring in other divisions, like there's more militaristic sides. But yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's just it happened to be in control at the time, and then I'm sure they fought tooth and nail to keep control.
Yeah.
Politics.
Yeah. So I mean, this episode is basically just an episode of Xena. It's fine. But I was thinking, oh shit, if every episode is going to be like this, it's just going to be boring. It works in the world of Xena, but when you got like a Stargate, you can do better stuff, guys. And yeah, I can see they're doing that. So
I mean, this is definitely one of the top 5 weakest. I don't even think it's because the premise is bad. I think it's a fine premise. It's bad that it was episode 2, basically, like the first one after the pilot, or the first one after the 3-part pilot, to give the girl that role. But the costuming is glorious. I like all the actors in it. They help sell it well. And the decision making is good. Like it's a good idea. It's a good to go straight into right. We're gonna. So the Goa'uld have taken people from throughout our history and seeded them on planets, and those cultures have continued along certain lines because that's just the way they've been. And so we will find planets that have people from Earth's past and from cultures. And so
I did like that.
Yeah, so that brings any possible story. But this is the first story that says, well, do we have a right to say, no, we know better? They've been here 1,000 years. Where's our prime directive? And so having the situation is it makes sense from that perspective to open up the universe. We can't just be white conquerors that come in and say we know better. This culture survived for 1,000 years. You know what I mean? So it's a moral one. It's just an unfortunate second one and could be a bit better. But I think it's not bad. It's just a lower point. It's still made well. It still looks good. But it's definitely a weaker one. And Carter still is good in it. That's the thing. Carter still beats him at the end. She's actively feministing her way through. So it's not even if there's a bad message. It's just a less good one. It's not a very fun watch, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then we have
Jarcia sent paper.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Broker Divide. I'm trying to remember the names of these as they go.
Broker Divide.
Yes.
I don't remember a lot of that one. I remember they kind of became animalistic and more and changed and trying to remember how that one ended. Goddamn. I remember him asking for more of the sedative.
Yep.
Because he felt more like himself.
Yep.
And I gotta say, I like the Doctor. She reminds me a lot of. Yeah, she reminds me a lot of Dawn Wells from Gilligan's Island, Marianne. She's got the same look, and she's absolutely adorable, and she's tiny.
Yeah, and she was an absolutely beloved cast member. Like she was so nice on set. Beloved cast member.
All right. So Jarcia puts in $5. I prefer the original pilot over the director's cut. Too many changes for the sake of change. There were some good deleted scenes, but the cut stuff like the MacGyver line and Carter and Ferretti talking about astronaut action figures. I also hated how they changed the scene where Teal'c defected. They amped up the pace when he and Jack started shooting the Serpent Guards, so it doesn't look like they're just ignoring the only threats in the room, and that's good. But the music change sucked all the energy out of the scene, and Teal'c's delays turning on the guards so long it makes it seem like he's torn on the decision rather than waiting for an opportunity. Original Children of the Gods worked much better in my opinion.
Have you seen the director's cut?
No, I just saw the one that I saw.
So that was made around season 8, and actually was able to use, because I went back to Chulak in season 8, and they made like some 3D assets of like the city and the forest, so they were able to use that for some establishing shots in the remaster. And they went in, because if you watch the original 2 episodes, they have no knowledge of what happens later. And like when Apophis goes to the gate, there's a Death Glider which like transforms into a Death Glider. But if you think about the scale of a Death Glider, how could there be rings that fit into it? There's a few weird things, and so the director's cut, they went back in and tweaked it based on the existing of the latest shows. They used different ships, as in updated ships that aren't just the movie ships, they're actually ones that fit in the universe. Updated the visual effects a bit. They changed the music because the original Children of Gods just uses the movie music verbatim, so it feels like the movie. But if you watch it then back to back with the show, you're like, this is a radically different vibe the rest of the show because it was written for the movie. Whereas the pilot, the director's cut, wrote new music, which feels like the show, and so it's more consistent with the show. And it makes it, rather than a 2-hour thing, it makes it an hour and a half, much more tight movie. So it's definitely worth a watch once you've seen the show, because it does tighten it a lot. Takes out the nudity, takes out some references that don't make as much sense. It's basically just like a retrospective show version of the movie. Rather than Stargate 2, it's SG-1, the prequel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Broken Divide, another good example of a bit of sci-fi with costumes. Yeah, there's a light and a dark, and the fancy people live in the light. The monsters, the people that have downgraded, live in the dark, but the Stargate's in the dark. And Daniel gets attacked by one of the dark people, and they, it's just an infection that's making them devolve. And that's all it is. It's simple chemistry, and unfortunately it infects all of them, and then you get this nice, like, it's science, but it's also mystical a little bit with how they're treating it. And then you get Jack being all, Carter's my mate because she's the strong female and I'm the strong male, and you get these fun, like, already a bit of chemistry between them. And then again Jack acting well, and it's a good premise that doesn't quite have the best pace as far as I'm concerned. It could do with a better pace, but the ending's quite satisfying with how they like bring the daughter back and they heal her, and they look, they are fine, and even Daniel like mates with the daughter, and it's like ooh, awkward. And guys, this is off memory that I haven't seen in years, so much more stuck in my brain.
To your house with houses of Gowron toilet paper. Other Klingons won't see what hit them.
Yes.
Dun, dun.
Then you have one that I actually never watched first run. I only watched it like 5 years later, so it's much less in my brain. I don't even know what it's called.
The First Commandment.
First Commandment, yes. What do you think of this one then? The Crazy SG Team. What happens if SG teams go bad?
This is like the what the hell? It's TOS episode, the Omega Directive or whatever. The Omega. Anyway,
sure.
Where the captain goes bad. Same kind of deal.
Yep.
And I love that it's Samantha's ex.
Yeah. Well, he's too old for her.
Ex-fiance.
Too old for her and too gruff for her, but whatever.
I don't think too old, but I mean, there's that temptation there to say you're a god. I mean, I got to admit that I'd probably think the same thing from time to time. Even Stephen McCoy said, just once I'd like to beam down and say, "Behold, I'm the Archangel Gabriel." This one's okay. Again, this is very much feels like an episode of like Xena or something. Just it doesn't feel. I don't know. It's just generic TV for me. It's not anything standout. If that makes any sense.
Well, it's modern day people looking at modern day people. There's not a lot of sci-fi in it, which is why it's a fun show, because it allows you to have high end sci-fi and low end civilization stuff. It's very few. I mean, you wouldn't expect to have lots of episodes of Star Trek where you go and see Romans and you go and you wouldn't feel right. This show, it does feel right. So it's a very well pitched show for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one's again a good. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, it's also the one with the super high UV index on the planet, so they work at night.
Mm-hmm.
Or
works them to death. They live in caves, and
and then he's like work them around the clock.
And he has like a Beretta with like 8 bullets, and it's like, this is my gun. It will cause thunder. And then he gets their guns, like, ha! I have guns again. I have bullets. Thank God, I have bullets again. I think.
That was funny with even going back to Emancipation with the Mongols. Gives him his gun, and he's like, yeah, there's only like a few bullets. We gotta get out of here.
Jack, how can he give him a gun? That's only 8 bullets. He'll realise very quickly it's not a thunder gun. Yeah. It's quite a meta show that it understands how silly it can be, and it uses that. But yeah, this one for me is not great. It's a good premise, but it should have been a more interesting like race of people. I don't like the actor. You're not meant to like him, the guy, but I don't like it that much. It's okay, a good premise. But I also don't want to see SG teams go bad, especially this early in the season. It's like we've only been up for like 5 weeks. Why has one already gone mega maniacal already? Come on, it should have been like a season 2 episode 5. It's like, wow, he's been out there, what I mean. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Next episode, Brief Candle. Brief Candle.
Cold Lazarus is next.
This order is interesting. This is not what's on the DVD then, because Brief Candle's right after then, I guess. Because Cold Lazarus is the crystals, and Brief
No,
Candle.
Cold Lazarus is, and then the Nox, and then Brief Candle.
What is okay?
Anywho, that's how I'm watching them. It's fine.
It's just, yeah.
Cold Lazarus is good. I love that the alternate Jack thing. Again, it's Star Trek kind of episode. Sorry, I'm going to compare it to Star Trek a lot because I see a lot of similarities.
Well, luckily
obviously.
Stargate does do it better than Star Trek a lot of the time.
A lot of the time, yes. Yeah.
So
and this one's great. We get to meet Jack's ex-wife and his kid. Even though his kid's dead, you know what I mean. Things happen. The crystals and how they got a mimic property, like they mimic shape-shifting kind of thing. But they all got like wiped out, and of course Jack has to go and like get zapped by one. This just happens a lot where they go through the gate without the right person or leaving somebody behind. It's a good episode. It's a little bit too, I don't know. The amount of people that saw, because his wife sees their kid.
yes.
There's a lot of weird shit going on in the hospital. It's just kind of a, we need to keep a tighter lid on this kind of thing episode. And it happens with Daniel later in season 2.
Yeah, this one I've never enjoyed that much. I think part of it is because the sun plot goes nowhere and does nothing, and so this episode feels like a waste. Now, obviously, this is the closure of the plot. I get that.
Yes.
But also, it's a lot of just watching a mopey Jack go around and be sad. And I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing here for me to enjoy personally, except the crystal stuff's kind of fun, and when it changes like Sam's face and stuff. But yeah, it's not interesting to me. Decent premise. I'm not gonna sing its praises too much. I think watching RDA, Richie Anderson, act as other Jack, he's acting like Will Smith in After Earth. You're like, that's Will Smith acting badly because he's being someone else apart from Will Smith. Having him act as that is not fun to watch, whereas him being Jack or being someone he's good at is like, that's a really good performance. Whereas for that, is like, this is not a good acting. Like, I'm not enjoying watching you act as this RDA, you know? That's personal preference more than anything else. But that's why I say season 1 has some less good episodes. This is up in the bottom half of season 1 for me easily. It doesn't hold up that well.
I'd say kind of middle of the road for me, but Thor Was an Alien puts in $2 and says the guy splats on the iris like a bug on a windshield.
Great sound effect.
Yeah. Jersey at $2. The Region 2 DVDs are in a different order. Well, that's why.
Because that's weird.
Olivia Julius, $10.
Oh.
Are you sick of Klingons? Obliterate them with Trekyards brand toilet paper. Ooh, quantum layered for maximum efficiency. It might be available soon on the Teespring store. By the way, we got to 100 likes. Woohoo! Awesome. 143 people watching. Keep hitting that like button, guys, if you haven't.
That's a great number of people watching. Thanks for joining us. Next we have Nox. That's interesting. Why?
I don't like this episode at all.
Okay, why? Honesty is good.
I don't know how to vocalize why I don't like it. First of all, we got Armin Shimmerman, which is cool, right? But
during his Star Trek run as well.
Yeah. But the whole like forest fairy attire that they got going on, and we find out that there's a floating city and there's like super advanced and all that. That's great, but they're gonna be important later, the Nox. But I just hate this episode. I don't know why. There's nothing good in this episode. They go through. They need to save the Stargate because they want. It's going to be shut down. They need something, and there's this talk of this invisible creature. So they make it the.
I actually forgot about that.
Secret of invisibility. But
the Gould have tried to get its technology for years, hundreds of years. If we find it, they'll be really pissed off, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about this episode. I just don't like this episode. I can't vocalize why I don't like it.
Is it not cool though? Because Apophis was obviously in the first episode, and here he is actually as a character. I mean, isn't that a cool thing to see him actually exist? Play a
It
strong
was cool to see
part.
the whole SG team get killed.
Yeah, yeah.
That was great.
I mean, did you see the Nox being the real super powerful race at the end? I mean, I think it's a pretty brilliant reveal when you see it the first time. See?
I didn't know.
And even the way they act, you're like, oh, that does make sense. Shit, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a very well thought. Like I think it's a pretty meaningful. It's a meaningful episode because you get a really good sense of Apophis. You get like Tilk actually fight Apophis for the first time. You get the shield, like how powerful they are. The fact that you just can't beat these guys. You know, the Nox. Also,
I was gonna say it's kind of like the Organians though, where the Federation steps in, going, "We'll protect you from the Klingons. We know you're primitive." But it turns they turn the tables again. I see the Star Trek analogies, and I mean, I just go ahead with what you were going to say. But
I think it's a strong episode in that there's so many elements that are interesting. I think the Nox are trying to be incredibly not interesting as characters. Like they have one vibe, and if you don't like the vibe, you're not going to like their scenes. But it's interesting, and their reveals are interesting, the ghoul bits are interesting, the tactical bits, the fact they use... Is these blow darts here? Yeah, because they're trying to get the flying creature, so they think we're going...
Yes, yeah.
You know, so that's it. Yeah, there's a lot of strategy here. And then to see, like, Jackson just pull out his piss, like, this'll be enough? Oh, I'm dead. It's like, of course it's not enough, you idiot. You know, and to see Apophis' face is really, like... It's good to see, like, he's the villain. And see him already in it, it's like, oh shit, you know, that was a surprise to me for sure. And then the end is a great reveal, and the kid's decent, you know. But yeah, it's a meaningful episode. It also suffers from just being a very much like in a forest episode. There's not a lot of other, like if we'd seen part of the Nox facility maybe, or seen a Gould facility or something else, you know, to help diminish it, to help change the art style a bit. 'Cause it's all just a forest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I gotta say that the forest thing isn't an issue really. I remember making fun of that, saying every planet looks like Vancouver, but they do it well. Plus, Stargates would go to planets that are like that anyway.
Yeah, and it does feel pretty varied for how many different art styles they have and such.
Yeah, and like I said, with the props and sets they use they go out of their way to make that stuff look good, and I'm impressed with every set that I've seen.
I mean, honestly, it unfortunately puts TNG's sets to shame. It's like you think of season 1 where they'd see, you know, Sung's lab, and it's like there's nothing lab, and then you cut to season 1 of the trial set. It's like they built this for this episode.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, cool. It's a bit embarrassing, really, when you break them down. But that's okay. That's okay.
Luke Celeste, $10.
Ooh,
I thought Ewok all the way. Ewok, what's that?
What? Ewok is the thing on top of a Nebula class, the Ewok pod? But
It's an AWAC.
Oh, well,
not an Ewok. I think Ewok. I think you meant Ewok. You spelled it wrong. It's EWOK for Ewok. Yeah. That's what he was trying to say, I think.
Okay,
anyway, sorry.
Brief
Tanushi.
Oh,
Tanushi, €5.
Thank you.
Nox look less like forest fairies and more like Roly Picaco. Okay, I don't have any goddamn clue what that is. So.
Yeah, okay. No, Google it. It's pretty funny, actually.
Okay.
I can't get the fairies so much. Oh, he's saying they look like Ewoks. They're not.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can't.
I think they look like woodland fairies. Yeah, they just have this. Yeah. I can see that.
But brief candle though. Jack's aging and falling sort of in love, maybe, but not really.
Oh, the Deadly Years meets Logan's Run. Yes, how can we forget? This one is all right. I love the makeup that they do for Jack. Again, all props to the costume departments and sets and all that for this show. It's awesome.
You can see that all of the money went in on screen. Because they didn't have big budgets. Like, these aren't like massive budget. A lot of why it looks so good is they filmed in Vancouver. Massive. This was at the absolute peak of tax cuts for the film industry. So like their budget went actually on the filming, and you can see it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as soon as he takes a bite of the thing, I'm like, that's probably not the best idea. And sure enough, that pays off. I didn't expect him to sleep with her.
Yeah.
But I mean, this one's good. It's the typical race against time but the fact that they were going to leave him there, it's kind of like, okay. I mean, the realistic scenarios that they come into with this show are actually pretty impressive, including worried about Earth getting contagions and stuff. I think that's great. So this one's just kind of all right. This one is another middle of the road one for me.
I think it's a better one in the sense that like the situation is great, the pace is great because they find out why and how really effectively. This costumes and sets are great, but it doesn't quite click. Something about it. It never gets going. I think it's kind of like we had a couple of years ago with TNG.
This is another one that's very similar to like you'd see on an episode of Xena. Same kind of premise.
But the acting, I think, of like Jack and of everyone else, I have to say bye to him right away. This is almost a season 2 episode. Like these guys, it's a character-based show, so they're approaching the characters like we really care. Which means if you watched this after having watched, say, season 7, you would have all this love for Jack, even more so. But on first watch, like I've only known him for 6 episodes, and you want me to care this much because they were banking on you will care this much. And so like whereas TNG is like, here's Troy, she's saying lines, whereas in this one it's like everyone has real emotional beats, which wow, they took it seriously. And yeah, they're good at having repercussions of the Stargate. It's like, yeah, be careful. Shit happens on alien planets. Yeah, and it's just kind of a good story. And Cynthia's fun. She's fun to watch. She's so bouncy. And then the fact that they save them and give them 1,000 days, or is really quite sweet. It's like I can't stay here because I'm already 40, and you're like 12 technically. So let's not. But Thor's Chariot. No, Thor's Hammer. Thor's Chariot's a sequel. Thor's Hammer.
Thor's Hammer is a great episode. I do love the tying in with different mythologies and stuff as well.
Which is so unexpected as well. Like it's like, ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Plus, I know all about the Asgards and the Stargate, so don't worry, guys. But yeah, so to see this take on it, like this, the first time we're introduced to that mythology in the Stargate franchise was cool, because there was some really good stuff in this. The fact that there's a Gould destroying device known as Thor's Hammer, which is just basically just a force field thing, right?
Well, it's a teleporter. It beams him to the caves. He either gets in, he either stays and lives out his life, or escapes and gets killed.
Though. Yeah, if he walks through the gate, he'd die. Of the cave.
Metaphor. Oh, yes, yeah.
Yes, the hammer's the thing that sends him there, but yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we get to, meet Thor, kind of. You got a hologram, and it's like, ooh, okay, that's Thor. That's cool. Thor's hammer is a very cool looking obelisk thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great stuff in this episode. So this is one of my favorites from this season for sure.
Yeah, I think this is easily top 5 of this season. This could easily be a season 2 quality because it has a strong premise, a strong story, strong acting, strong world building. The fact they're already thinking this far ahead in terms of their own continuity is surprising. Like they had plans, you can feel it, And I mean, this is it's also interesting that you set up these villains, right, that are in control of the galaxy, give or take, at least through fear. Not necessarily literally running every planet, but they're in control through fear. Everyone knows about them. And you introduce this planet which has got a weapon that kills them. Boom, easy, done. Like, that's pretty ballsy to do. But what does that tell you? There are more powerful things than gods and men out there again, Are they good, are they bad? Who knows? The Gould are bad, but hey, they're also menaces. Who knows?
Gould.
Goa'uld. And Unas. First introduction of the Unas. What do you think? Voiced by James Earl Jones. Darth Vader voiced.
Oh, yeah, because, so his first introduction of him. He comes back. What? Is that what you said?
No, well, first introduction of the Unas. And then...
Oh, yes. Yeah, we were trying to figure out who James Earl Jones was in this, and then we figured out it was the voice. That's pretty terrifying, actually, that creature.
Yeah, he's a menace.
And when you tie it in with mythological beliefs and stuff, and just how terrifying that would seem to some people. It's just like, yeah, that's awesome. That's really well done.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the best ones. Ah, this one is one that people always talk about, and it's Tournament of Tantalus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eugene, though, 350 rubles. Never, I thought, to find the source of budget off-brand Radagast means aforementioned Rolly the Troll in the discussion of Stargate.
That's nice.
Well, there you go. Yeah, Torment of Tantalus. I love this one that they were messing around with the Stargate in like 1945, and the guy went through in like an old style.
Well, it's water.
Diving.
It's water.
Yeah, you don't know what's on the other side. You need air, so.
Yeah.
I think that's great, and the fact that you get the old lady from the movie brought back.
Not the same actress, but
not
yes.
the same actress, but the same character. Yeah.
Yes. And she's actually better, I think. Personally, I think she's better in the role, but that's just me.
Yeah. And then going to find him, and I gotta say, if I was stuck somewhere like that for all those years, I'd be walking around naked myself. Yep. You see all these shows where, like Star Trek, where they're crashed on the planet and they're there for a couple years or whatever.
They're still shaved.
Show up, they're nicely shaved. You're always wearing clothes. I wouldn't. After a certain number of years, I'd just be like, oh, whatever. So that's great. Like this was awesome, this episode, and then we get the tie-ins with the other languages and how it's kind of like the Grail from the Last Crusade. Like you gotta let it go, Daniel. Daniel, like gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
But this is the meaning of everything. It's like just chill.
Of all the advanced races, I mean, what could be here?
Yeah, yeah, and the fact that they have to repower the DHD, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was broken. They need to repower it, and then it falls through the bottom of the thing.
Yep.
Into the... Yeah, this was a good one. This one I really enjoyed. So
I think this is a very clever episode. It's not my favorite because it's sad. Like, it's got a really sour tone the entire time, but it's really, really clever. And again, how much they thought through, like, you can tell about the entire season first. Reintroduce the Nox after just 2 episodes. Langford back, but in a very different way. The black and white footage is so fun to see, and it's so clever, the idea of the helmet, of the scuba, and then the helmet is essential later, so it all links in. And there's other subtleties here. Not only we introduce the other races, which are all important, those languages all come back, the races all come back in some form or another, that's, again, set up, but also, if you note the podium that they use to activate the hologram, that looks like a Gould tech, right? But it isn't, because the Gould stole tech. It was another art design choice to tell the audience, oh no, these are the races that made the tech of the galaxy, the Gould are the ones that just stole shit. Very clever, because you know what I mean? And I think the CGI holds up beautifully in this. Like, this is an old show. This CGI is still beautiful today. Nothing, I think, dates in this one in particular.
I love how they later, I think it's in season 2, they refer to this planet as Ernest Planet.
Yeah.
So that was cool too, just to that kind of, because you always get the P359 whatever.
Yeah. P3X944.
Yeah, I love how they just actually name planets at some point.
Well, I mean, it's Jack, isn't it, though? I mean, he's just like, I can't remember that. What should we call it? Desert Planet 4. Okay, cool. Sex Planet.
That's like me. It's funny how much Jack reminds me of me, and so reminds Sylvia of me. It's the stupid shit he says.
Because you are.
He's smart. He understands. He just doesn't really care half the time. He's like, eh.
Well,
who does that remind you of, Samuel?
Well, he's not book smart, but he is street smart, and he's also situation smart. If you like military situations, why he's where he is. He's a very decorated colonel, but he's not like people who become colonels don't need to know a lot of stuff about stuff. They need to know a certain set of stuff. That's why he's experts, you know.
Yeah.
Because he needs those people. But yeah, I think it's a very good episode. And everyone acts really well in it. Like, really good episode for the cast. Yeah. Then you have Bat Chuluk. Again, we're already, compared to TNG, we're already having a sequel to the first episode. You know, already seeing the Took Back through, already seeing this stuff. Like, he really cares about his universe like Star Trek couldn't at the time. And we get introduced to Ryak and his wife, who's a character actress who appears in Eureka and a lot of other things and gets changed later. But yeah, Bat Chuluk, what do you think? And we're going to learn a lot about the symbiotes and the Gould maturation elements.
Didn't really like this one. I don't care about Teal'c's son. I'm sorry, I just don't.
But do you care about Tilk?
Yes.
So
He got the best facial expressions of all time.
best actor. So shouldn't you care about his family through at least what he thinks about them?
No.
That's me.
I don't know why. This is like in Star Trek. We're coming up to an episode that's going to be all about the Klingon thing. Once the Klingon thing start, I don't care about those episodes. I don't care about Klingon culture. I don't care about those episodes, unfortunately. This one is like, I don't care about your son. You left him. There's a reason you left him. So,
well,
who gives a shit?
I mean, to be fair, he made a snap decision. Like he didn't choose as much as he reacted.
I know.
It was very like that's another like unique thing about it. But this is like me with the Crystal episode. Like I just don't care about Jack's story really. I like this because it instantly 3Ds. Like Tilk, like Worf wasn't in this treatment for a long time. This is episode what 7. Already we're getting the full fleshing out of Tilk's range of character and whatever, and it's pretty sad to see he left all this. Like doesn't that make surely his episode 1 even more harsh because he gave up literally everything for them. Like there's nothing more he could give except his life. You know what I mean? It should improve the look of later seasons, early episodes.
Yeah. This one is a pass for me. Don't care.
Interesting stuff with the symbiotes, though. Learning about the maturation and the ceremonies and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, every time I hear symbiote, I think Trill, unfortunately.
Ooh, that's not a good... Okay. Yeah, I'm the other way around, I think. Okay. I mean, this one's pretty good. This one is a good medium. It's a great world builder, but it doesn't have the budget to quite show Chuluk, and that's its downfall. It's like, if you want to show this great Gould City and we just don't really get to see it, it's always on the outskirts. So that's, I think, its biggest flaw. But then we get fire and water?
Yes.
Hey. Which, again, I didn't see until, like, years later. Oops.
This one's all right. I love how they think Daniel's dead. They have this memory burned into their mind.
He dies so many times.
Right? And this one, again, puts Star Trek a little bit to shame as far as makeup goes. The makeup in this show is so well done. The creature that has Daniel, that is amazingly done.
Yeah.
And I just watched one in season 2 with the little face gill things. I forget what they're called now.
Oh, the
race.
There's a lot of episodes which explain the episode.
The Native American one.
Oh, you are that one. Yeah. Yeah.
That's like amazing makeup because they all like move.
Yeah.
It's like, and TNG had some good stuff, but not anything that moved. Like this guy had like little gills that were moving all the time, and he kept Daniel because I can't remember Babylon. His wife died of Babylon, and he wanted Daniel to teach him about Babylon. I don't remember. It was just kind of an episode. I liked the Earth side of it better than the Daniel side.
Yeah, mourning again.
Yeah.
How they all deal with it.
Yeah. I liked that part of it, not the other
this
part.
one is forgettable for me, even though you're right, the makeup's amazing. I don't remember what his plot is either. Yeah, I absolutely agree. This one is a. It should have been great, but it didn't click. Like someone's just click. You know, they meant well, they tried hard, doesn't quite work for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one.
Next up is Hathor.
Yes.
It's a great episode. I obviously like it for a lot of reasons. Plus, the sarcophagus is really cool. That prop is also amazing. Although one thing I hate about that prop, every time you see the doors close, they do that. To close, like it should be a more fluid motion.
Well, it's meant to be stone, meant to look like etched stone. It wouldn't be smooth. That's part of the aesthetic.
Well, it's supposed to be gold.
Well, yeah, it's
supposed to be solid gold.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just annoys me. It takes me out of it. It should be, if it's advanced, it should just be smooth. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, this one's good for multiple reasons. The whole Jack's little offspring, or not Jack's offspring, Daniel's offspring, that they want to put inside Jack, one of them. I mean, there's a lot going on in this episode, and I don't remember all of it, to be honest. It's kind of a jumble.
Well, it's meant to be, I think. This is a really good one because it's massively world building and yet is a bottle show. You know, it's just completely in the set. But she, I think, is a great actress, and I know Sue-Ann. I've met her a couple of times, and she actually emceed at the last event we were at, and you know, she's always blasted. She loves this character, as I think you would. But she's really good in it, and she also gives us a different side of the ghoul. She doesn't have to speak in the voice, which is already a revelation of like, oh, what's the line here? You know, the fact that she can blend in but not, the tech she's able to do, the idea of being a 1,000-year-old queen. There's a queen. You know, it creates a hierarchy that, you know, hey, the Gould aren't misogynists because the queens outrank everyone else, and you have to have a queen to pollinate and make more Gould. She can she has to have Jack for his specimen, but you know, how much more dangerous does that make the Gould when one person can make 1,000 larvae, and doesn't take them long at all to become mature, and they can go into somebody instant. Well, okay, that's the other way, but you know, like it really makes them much scarier, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that the women aren't affected by it because of the pheromones or whatever. Again, problem in my brain when I see this kind of thing is I draw parallels to Star Trek, and this is like the Lorelei signal from the animated series, where the men all go stupid because of shit like this, and the women have to take over and rescue them essentially. So it's got a lot of shades of that in this episode, but no, I still enjoyed this episode quite a bit. And, you know, like I said, for multiple reasons.
It's also very logical, because, the pheromone thing, like, obviously, in Egypt, the men were the warriors and the breadwinners, and the girls were at home. So, therefore, if you're going to control people, control the men. It's easy, you know.
Yeah.
And just seeing them act out of character and yet whatever. And it does come back to play, you know, seeing Daniel be that smitten and the horror of Jack's face when he gets changed. And that's a great prop. Like that scene where he gets physically altered and you're like, oh shit. That's a good moment, you know. And then Carter and Janet get to be heroes and what do you think when she's revealed not to be dead at the end?
What a twist. I mean, I saw her walk away.
Yeah, it's if you notice it, it's a clever effect because you can see it blatantly, but you're not meant to be looking there. And so you think
I noticed it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's a clever, like, it can work on both levels. And it's a great Gould evolution one. It's like, wow, these things are really dangerous. And we just unlocked this woman out into the universe. Oh, dear. And she can single-handedly take over a planet, basically. Oh, no. Yeah, not good. This one, Cora Eye?
No, Singularity.
Oh, which one? Oh, this is the Cassandra one?
Yes.
Cassandra one.
Didn't like this episode at all.
Oh! Now, is this your first dislike then? Like, because that was an instant no. As opposed to...
Maybe. I don't know what to say to that.
That's fine.
I just don't like this one. I don't like the kid. I think I fell asleep for part of the middle of it.
Well, that would help you not like it as much if you didn't see it all. You gotta watch it.
I wouldn't say I didn't see it all. I did, but... It just kind of like I got so bored. I was like, oh, like this one just didn't do it for me. And the fact that they were going to put her in the bottom of the goddamn thing and let the bomb explode. It's like, what? What is wrong with you? I understand that's like the only thing you can do, I guess, but
well, what else would you do though? You can't. I mean, you got no time. I mean, you can't take her anywhere else. It's either you kill lots of people, or you kill no people. I mean, what do? You know.
I just don't like this episode.
Yeah, this one's definitely a weaker one. I think partially because it's. I think the character is pretty decent for what she's doing, but the sets aren't very good this week. Like they're just like internal science ones. Like it's grey, it's grim, and the story isn't quite interesting enough. You know, it's got potential, and there is a follow up to this. But for me, it's the first time we see a Gould spaceship, and it's like, ooh.
That's true.
And that's a nice ominous. Again, it's all being set up. So yeah, this is definitely one of the weaker ones. I think Carter does a good job acting in it, amount of tapping, but it doesn't. And I think the two stories also feel too separate. Seeing Jack and Tilk, all of that set up on their side just to see the ship, but there's so much faff of them with the solar flare stuff. You know, it's like this is not important. Why are we caring? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Now do you have Cora Eye?
Cora, yes.
Yes. The trial episode. Tilk's past is coming right back to haunt him.
Which, every time taking this guy through Stargate, people are like, "Oh, you're Jafar." It's like,
I mean,
chill out, guys.
Well, they've tortured everybody for everyone's lifetime. Yeah, I mean,
well, take the shit off his forehead then. Like,
well, it's burned in.
I know it is. It's gold poured underneath. I know. I've seen what the thing where they do it.
Yes.
Saw that episode a long time ago. Anyway, you can take that out. You know what I'm saying? You can wear it as a necklace or something.
Or just have a hat over it. Just Spock it. There you
That's
go.
what they do a lot. Yeah, but this one's all right. Again, it's just kind of for me. Measure of Man did it better. That's totally different. I know. Just saying the courtroom thing. No, but the whole concept of the old style justice, you know, you killed my father, and it's not innocent until proven guilty, it's guilty until proven innocent, and the person that was wronged the most, that's the most directly affected by it, is the one that gets to dish out the punishment as they see fit, which is old school justice. Before, it's all right. It's okay. I don't really remember that a whole lot about it, to be honest.
I think it's a good case study episode because it's good to deal with these issues early on, so then you can avoid them later. And so this is to see Tilk's past, like it's fine to have him be, it's our friend hero. Yeah, but for 10 years he killed people all the time. Like, he's a foot soldier for a menacing army. Like, it's really impactful, and it's always good to see Apophis as a cameo. Always fun to see him because it builds up the mystique of mythos. I like the guy's acting, the guy who is the son. I like that. And I like the subtext that, we knew you had caves and we let you go. Like, that's interesting until one day they couldn't. And it's just, But yeah, it's not... It's also all in one room, mostly.
Yeah.
I like the acting, I like the idea, I like the crossbows, and the concept's good, but something about it doesn't quite work. I do agree. Although having Jack and Daniel be like arbiters and at one point say we're going to get him out, it's like we can't let our friend die. I can shoot anybody here and get him out. We don't need to let him be killed. And Daniel's like, yeah, but that's not the point, is it? This is about justice and about fairness. We can't just get him out, even though he's like, well, we get the cavalry in. And Tilk's like, no, if I'm to pay for all my crimes, I mean, I might as well be here. I'm right here. I think it's a strong moral episode. It's interesting. It's just not the most fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm a bring in the cavalry, let's get our guy out of here kind of guy.
Yes, and that's
as you know from some of the Star Trek episodes, how I would handle things.
And that's why you'd be banned from a lot of planets.
And not become a captain.
Right, what's next on your list then?
Enigma.
That's the Tolan episode?
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
The OMAC?
The people they save, right?
Yes.
The Tolan episode, yes. With Nareem and... What's the other guy's name? Don't remember.
This is when they're investigating Mount Vesuvius.
Yes.
The ash is falling, and they gotta get him out of there.
Isn't that a great setup, though, with all the... Like, doesn't that look great at the start? It's very... For a soundstage, it's very well done.
And, this one's okay. I mean, I'd be frustrated as hell being them, being stuck on Earth. So, you have a ship to take us home, yeah? No? Oh.
God damn it!
Yeah.
You guys suck!
and then the reluctance to, like, help. And I love that, though, because they basically destroyed another planet.
Basically, they did.
By accident.
Yeah.
So they're reluctant, of course, to do that. And this one's good. This is like this typical episode of Star Trek. This kind of stuff can happen in Star Trek, right? I don't know. It's okay. It's the upper crust for me as far as but yeah, it's not my favorite of the episode, or the season, but it is up there.
This is a reverse Star Trek. Because they're the Federation, we're the Neanderthals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why it's fun, and how they act is like a combination of condescending and like, you guys are children. Because they speak to them like, our heroes of 18 episodes are 5-year-olds, because from their context, and we do see the Tolans later on a couple of times, it's like, yeah, they really are. Because the Tolans are basically the race that is like, would have been one of the races at Ernest's planet if it still existed at that level. That's, I mean, that little square can phase through walls. So I think it's a brilliant effect. I love how they do that. and it sends a signal to their planet across the galaxy. Really cool. Like, I love how subtle they are and yet tech they are. So it's a nice balance. And isn't just Nareem great? Like the actor, like the way he plays that character.
I didn't really like him, to be honest. He's kind of creepy.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I can see that.
And the leader's even more creepy. He's got such a tiny little mouth. He's the guy that plays Saw.
Yes, he is.
In the Saw movies.
Jigsaw,
yeah. He's got this tiny little mouth, and he's just like,
I hate
it's not normal, dude.
I hate you all. You all suck. You don't know us. Yeah, I know, but I hate you anyway. Yeah. I've met Garvin a couple. I actually met Garvin. His name's Garvin Stanford, which is sort of a weird name. He's Canadian, and he went to the Stargate. The one event we went to in Canada, and he wasn't meant to be there, but he came as a fan to bring his kids and his kids' friends, and they got to meet them all and hang out with them for like a bit of the convention, and just weird to meet him like that. It's like, oh, hi Nareem. Oh, hi Nareem's kids. Let's hang out for a bit. Okay, cool. So that was fun. No, I like this episode. This episode's great because again, it's like the Nox. It's a world building. The universe is not just the Gould. You know, there is more, and we are still, guys. We might just have had an episode where we could blast our way out, and another episode where, you know, whatever. But no, we are still small fish in this pond. You know, they keep the balance really well, I think. And it's just fun. Like the intro's fun. Like we saved a race of hyper advanced people. Oops. And then you can't keep them. It's like, no, we are children. They could fade. They can all escape. Like today.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
You can't stop us, guys. Don't try.
No, that's good.
And then isn't the end the Nox?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like again continuity.
It's the daughter comes through the Stargate. Yeah.
Hi guys, you can't stop us either. We came through your gate. None of you can stop us. Don't try.
Yeah.
But wasn't that kind of cool as well? It's like, wow, this universe is so connected. Season 1. You know?
Yep. Next is Solitudes, which is one of my favorites.
Solitudes, right.
And yeah, they think they're on a different planet, and it's like, what the hell is happening? Jack's not in a good state, and right near the end, I guessed it. I'm like, why is this Stargate? And I was talking to Sylvia about it as it was happening, and then right after I'm done saying what I had to say, Samantha says, well, what happens when you call your own phone number? Wrong person to ask. to Teal'c. Or not Samantha. Was it Daniel that said it?
He hasn't had a phone in years, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I was not thinking there. No, but I saw this one coming. And it's great, actually. I think it's fantastic that they're actually on Earth. And the whole time you're thinking, damn, they're screwed. No power source.
Yeah. It's the most clever, simple idea possible. You know?
Yeah.
It's so simple, and I mean they are given such a shitty situation, and yet it's like saying you starved a mile from your house in galactic terms because you didn't realize you were. It's really sad, but the way they figure out is really clever, and it's very logical. And having 2 gates, I mean that's kind of a cool reveal.
Because we closed one up, so they had to put another one here.
Yep.
Olivia Julius, $5, 125 likes with 150 people watching. If you haven't hit like yet, why? It's free. It is free. Hit like, guys.
And it's actually kind of fun. We're at 150 people watching, which is brilliant. I thought we'd have less than that. Awesome. 126 likes, pretty good. I genuinely forgot about Super Chats. We're just chatting for the last 20 minutes. Guys, do Super Chat if you can. We've done okay this week. We'd love to have another sort of 30, 40, 50 bucks if you can. There's a lot of you watching, so if 10 of you can give 5, that's it. So maybe hey guys, put in a question for Stuart for $1, $2, $5. Seriously guys, I'd love to have some Stargate questions for Stuart. That'd be so much fun. Like, what do you think of this or that or this, or what do you think's going to happen? If any of you can give $5 for a question, I would love that because we're almost at the end of the season. This is a lot of fun. So if you can, and this again, I think is a great one where you know there's chemistry between Jack and Carter, but they're both military, but it's there, but they're not going to act on it, but they might, but. There's physical chemistry but professionalism, and it's such a beautiful, you know what I mean? You know it's there, but you also don't. It isn't a will they won't they? It's a, oh damn it! Another time, another place, you know.
I still think it was kind of convenient that they got him out of there before he died. But
That's all.
that's a long way to get up there. But anyway,
that's every film ever, isn't it? You know, I mean, the bomb going off, not going off at one. I mean, but it's really a beautiful episode, and the fact that we find the DHD, but it's broke. Like every step is a struggle. I remember they hated the episode because I think they refrigerated this scenery to make it cold and such, and it was a really like shit one to film, but it feels like it. Yeah, good one. Now Tin Man.
Yes.
Tin Man. Yes.
It's funny the way Tin Man starts with the pan down across the Stargate and this big thing. I'm thinking, is that the second Stargate? Did they set it up somewhere?
Yeah.
But no.
But Stuart, I should say, Contraia! Stuart, hello! Contraia!
So the question is, do I like this episode called Tin Man better than the Tin Man we just reviewed?
Yes. I would hope so.
Yeah. Thor was an alien, $2. When will you do season 2? Need notice for rewatch. I'm not sure. We'll let you know early next week, probably.
We'll also have Lower Decks really soon. I mean, this has been pretty good. We haven't got as many super chats, but we've had great viewership, so we'll see. But I mean, hey, I definitely want to do them as you're watching them, because as I say, that they especially with the villains like change so quickly that if you're into like once you know that they do die, don't die, kill their people, it's like well, you know what I mean. So season 2, like you need to wait as soon as you finish it, sort of thing. So
yeah.
And
Tanushi, €5. Contraia.
And Zodin, no, different part of Antarctica. That was a different time. That's way before this. But Jill, I would say just start watching now, because he's like halfway through. So just start watching now.
Oh yeah. David Julius, $5. When are you doing Firefly?
It'll be an easy one, but at some point.
Yeah.
Tin
Man was good. Again, not the best of this season, I don't think, but it's up there. It's in the like 6.5, 7 range as far as scores go. And definitely interesting because I mean I remember them going back to the planet and saying we want our bodies back. And, that's not possible. It's like what did you do with our bodies?
I ate them. What?
And I know there's 9 more seasons, but I'm still like what the hell? So I mean it works. It's successful in that regard. And the guy's pretty hilarious. I forget his name, but
Harlan, something like that. Or no,
maybe. I don't know.
They'll say in a minute. It's like Harlan, something like
that. Yeah. So and then
was everybody right? Was it Harlan? If I got that, that'd be amazing.
Harlan, yeah.
Wow, I did. I got it. Ah!
Yeah.
I was like, is that cool? I know my shit, Stuart.
Yeah, and then the Teal'c one freaks out because he's different because he has the little symbiote thing in him. No, it's a good episode. You get to see the Jacks talking to each other.
Yes, which is always fun.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if this one's going to come back at some point and be referenced.
There's a lot of great setups in season 1. I mean, the Nox, Hathor. I mean, so many great setups.
Yeah.
Now this I think is a great sci-fi premise done very well. Again, the setting being the factory I think detriments it a little bit because it's very samey very quickly. If it was more sci-fi-y, I know why, I get it, but I think that would have made it feel more distinct because all I think when I think of this one is robots, great character actor, every set looks the same. That does not help. Whereas like a lot of other ones have a lot of that visual interest stuff. It's well written, well acted, whatever, but it doesn't quite have the same like you said. It's a good. It hasn't got the spark, but you don't see it coming. It's a great concept. The fact they don't kill him at the end is interesting. Unlike Riker murdering his own clone in cold blood without 1 second hesitation. You know, they let him have him. Yeah, he's lonely. You know, Harlan. You know, race of machines.
He needs help. So.
Yeah. It's a good concept, really good concept.
Yeah. Fleet Pass Fifth back $2.
Thank
If
you.
Teal'c was in Star Trek, what race would he be? Vulcan.
No, he'd be the first Vulcan Klingon hybrid.
I was gonna say, like, you usually go to the Klingon for that, but
Yeah.
judging by the facial expressions and the way he speaks, he's very much got that stoic kind of Vulcan thing. But yeah, I agree. There you go.
He's back.
Tenchi 2K7 $5.
Thank you.
Stargate is my second favorite sci-fi intellectual property,
Yep.
possibly after Star Trek.
Yeah, no, I would. Like I've said, I think Star Trek has a lot more misses on average than Stargate. Stargate is, for the most part, everything's above a 5, everything's in a 6 to 9 range. Whereas Star Trek, there's 4s, there's 2s, there's 1s, there's 0. You know. But the average is so much higher for Stargate. I think it's just better written overall. Because it utilizes all the benefits of the continuity of the 2000s and late 2000s instead of forward thinking, but still has miniature work, great sets, a lack of green screen. Like, it has best of those both eras and good CGI as well. So it really straddles that line. Whereas like even modern shows now, it's like, well, that was a green screen shot. Whereas they went to a real factory and they made it alien and they do all these things. It's a really, really special time, you know?
Yeah. Martin Pelt, €10.
Ooh,
Glad to
thank
see
you.
you doing SG-1. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Martin, do you like my... I came prepared. Just feels that much more right, doesn't it, Stuart?
Yes. Eugene, 250 rubles. Let's cut to the chase. Expanse when?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sometime. I'm just not excited to
Few
watch
years.
it. Like, I'll watch it, but it looks grim.
Yeah.
You know? I am going to get the Blu-ray. I'm going to get the Blu-rays for Christmas, get all 4 seasons, and then watch them for like that. So I will, you know, that'll be how I watch it.
I watched like the first few episodes and I was bored. So, and that was like when it first started. So, I mean, it probably gets better, but there you go. Area 51, $5.
Thank you.
Was missing a Stargate from my warehouse. Now I see where it went. Son of a bitches. That's season 2. Kaon.
Was it a reference?
You don't.
I mean, I
The
may know.
other Stargate.
Okay, that one. Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah.
It
Kaon
wasn't a warehouse.
73,
is all.
$5.
It was a hangar, but
It was Area 51.
yeah, but it wasn't a warehouse. It was either being used or in a. So I just didn't visualize.
It was.
There's other times it's in a
Yeah.
warehouse. I was thinking, that's not in season 2. So I was like confused by yeah.
It was a hangar. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kaon 3, 73, $5. Oh my god, no comment. But thank
man.
you.
Appreciate it.
And Zoden01, $5. Love it that you guys are doing this show. Shova.
Hey!
That means yet. So.
Boo! What does that mean, Stuart?
I have no idea.
Really? They say it enough in season 1.
I don't remember.
Traitor!
Oh. Redneck Trekker, not to be negative, but Expanse is a little overrated. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I get from it, too.
Which is interesting.
Anyway.
But Tin Man, good episode. Not the best, but definitely solid. Really solid.
Yeah.
Now, the next one is... Solid?
Mirror Universe.
Solid? No. What's it called?
There, but by...
Oh, yes.
But for the grace of God.
Yes.
The Mirror Universe one.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
Don't touch things. Don't touch alien artifacts and then have flashes of light and not think something happened. And when your team's gone, realize that something's happened. Don't be a dumbass. This was frustrating for me because this was one of those. First of all, I wouldn't have done that. Then I wouldn't have done that. And then I would have been like, what the hell?
Well,
before I got sent through the gate.
The point is, he's a book smart, not world smart yet. He gets world smart by the end. He is he's not even a sci-fi fan per se. He's an archaeologist. He likes old things. He's not going to think, wow, this must be a sci-fi teleporter. He's going to think, guy, like I know Daniel a bit better. It's totally in character. But okay, past that bit though, what do you think of that episode?
It was good. I love seeing Mirror Universe kind of alternate reality type deals. That's one of the things I really enjoy. I love how Jack's the current or the general, and so that's cool. The old lady's in charge. I remember that. Sam's a civilian. And was she married to Jack, or was she just engaged?
No, she was married to Jack. They married like last year, and then he got.
Yeah. So lots of weird stuff going on. I like this one. It's fun. I don't know why they didn't listen to him a little bit sooner. Like, he clearly knows what the hell is going on. He's talking about, I don't know.
Well, he's in a
It's
super
just
secret base, etc., etc. It's like you don't just trust. It's like with Beverly. It's like, yes, but she's probably mad. Yes, he's probably mad. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
It's frustrating for me to watch those. It's just like, come on, guys, get with the program.
Yeah, and then they get attacked. Earth gets basically defeated, like in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you know Earth was going to get attacked at the end of season 1, or was this like?
I did not know.
Ah, okay, good. Because I mean, in terms of structuring a season, to have the setup to the end as we lost. I mean, now you've seen it. It's fucking clever, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like structurally, and the fact that he gets the coordinates to the motherships in an alternate universe, and that's the only reason they survive, and that's just amazing. I love that. It's so clever. And
I love how they tried to talk to Teal'c to have him switch sides, but it didn't work. I love that because usually it would. Oh well, you know.
Well, it's because they genuinely get to kill Earth. Like that never happens. They get to go full on it, and I just it's such a great precursor. And I love the mirrors. I wish I used it more because it's such a cool device. It's amazing they don't use it more often. I love Daniel in this episode. I love everyone variation. I think Kowalski's in it as well, isn't he?
Yes.
Yes. And yeah, it's just and to like hear the devastation that one mothership causes, or like a little bit, it's like yes, we are not prepared, and so you really feel it, you know, because you don't know if he can go back. That's part of it because they're dialing in. So I mean, obviously he's going to escape somehow, but the way they play the action, you're like, how is he like? This is really difficult. Like he's actually locked in, you know, and it's up until the last second, you know. Just real clever episode.
Let's see, we got another super chat here. Jarzy, $5. What did you think of Braytak, and why is he the best supporting character in the show?
He was in the Mum episode, the Ryak episode. Yeah, Braytak. I mentioned Braytak. He's a mentor.
Braytak, mentor for who?
For Teal'c. So remember in season 1 he goes to his wife's house. No, that's season.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wife's house burned down, and the guy meets him there, and he fights with O'Neill a bit, and then he's like, remember the guy with the goatee and the old warrior? Yeah. What do you think?
I've seen him many times because I've seen other episodes.
You were so
like
super.
Him.
Okay, because you didn't know who he was, even though he had his name and his face. Like, it's Braytak, man.
Once I knew who you were talking about, okay. The name doesn't ring a bell. I'm not good with names generally with sci-fi for a while. Star Trek, we kind of had to force ourselves to be with Picard and stuff, but
he's great.
I'll get there.
He is one of the best supporting for sure. He's always good. I've met the guy again. He's lovely. Was lovely anyway. Good guy. But then Stuart, most memorable of all episodes, the clip show.
I hate this asshole, Captain Angelica. He just plays such a dick all the time. I just can't stand him. I'm just like, I even said to Sylvia, would it be bad to like kill him and the other guy and shove him through the Stargate? They just went missing.
He wanted a guided tour of a planet, and oh no, we got attacked. Oh, Apophis, bomb, boom.
Yeah, it's such a shame. No, I can't stand the guy. This is, as far as clip shows go, this one's pretty well done, but having just binged the season, I didn't want to see this.
Yes.
That's the problem with clip shows. If you binge it, it's like, oh, I just saw this. I don't care.
Yep. No. Which is, again, you can't take points off the episode for it. That's the problem.
No.
I think this is definitely one of the cleverer clip shows because actually, like the A plot is a real A plot. Like, and especially with the next episode, the Stagate is being deactivated. Like, it's a real A plot. They're just saving money because I mean, the amount of budget they spent at the end of the season is fucking massive. Like, they really built the ship. It's a great looking set. So obviously, to get that, we get a clip show. I'm okay with that because the guest actor is excellent, and it's a really good stakes episode. Yeah, it's definitely one of the better clip shows because there's a real story behind it, and it's a great reminder for Apophis especially. It like if you watch it again, knowing that he's the villain, like it's carefully framed to give you a sense of Well, yeah, how do we defeat them? Well, we can't. Oh, they've got this force field generator. All the things you need to remember from the last episode. So it's,
remember you. Do you remember getting a text saying, "A clip show"? Seriously?
Yeah. Oh, I knew what you meant, Stuart. I knew.
I know. Yeah, I know. I knew you would. No, but yeah, I can't stand this guy. I know he comes back. I've seen him come back to the show. Like I said, I've seen a lot of Stargate just all out of order and just weird. So I know some of the stuff that's kind of coming. But
isn't it great they keep the canon going so much? And they like having the regulars back, and they have like such a vibrant world.
It's almost like canon's important.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Canon is a way for us to jump in and enjoy a show, and because we already know the universe, they don't have to explain it all to us. They can just get things started. That's what canon's for.
Yes. Yeah, and it gives you depth, which you wouldn't always have. That's why the MCU's been so good, because they've built depth. You can have Avengers 1 without knowing anybody, it would be a shit film. Sorry, it would. Look, everyone's powerful and no one's got weaknesses. Cool. Or you give 6 years of building up canon. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think you'd agree one of the better clip shows out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it serves a purpose and it leads.
They're going through mission reports. Love it. You know.
Yeah. Better than Shades of Grey. Well, it was like this episode. Even though it's a clip show, it's not under 5 out of 10 because the acting's good and the subplot and the main plot's good. It's just not. You know what I mean? It's not a bad episode. It's just it's a clip show, and that's a good line.
I just don't understand the bureaucratic mindset that says going to other planets is a waste of money. Like, what the? It just boggles my mind. Can't hear you.
That's weird.
There you go.
Sorry. Okay, I know what you're saying, absolutely. And later on it's not as big a problem. But if you think about it, if it costs like $750,000 to turn it on every time, like dollars because of the power requirements, and everyone in this building is getting paid, all the kit's being paid. This is a multi-billion-dollar funding. And they brought literally nothing back that's useful.
$7 billion a year.
Yeah. And they brought nothing back. All they've done is helped a few places. Like for a year's work, $7 billion, they've got nothing to show except some knowledge. But
when you put it that way, sure, but it's still stupid. We're part of a bigger neighborhood.
Yeah, but
there we go. Helping people is important because then they'll want to help you back.
But how
could come in handy one day?
But how can some dudes with crossbows that try tilt help? You know.
Shut up, Samuel.
No, I obviously I agree, and that Stargate would all be doomed. But it's a good perspective. Like, yes, we thought this would be one thing, and it really isn't. Turns out most of the galaxy is really simple, and every time they go out and shoot bullets, it's like, well, they've just spent $80 worth of ammo, and they've done nothing but. You imagine like the mission reports are like, we saw some great flowers and tech that we couldn't keep. Oh, so this mission was a loss of $400,000. Okay.
So it's confirmed, guys. Samuel doesn't think the Stargate program should have continued.
Well,
I never play devil's advocate with the politics because don't do that.
And at least their health insurance was fine because every time they got ill, they got healed in the same episode by alien tech. But yes, this leads on obviously to Within a Serpent's Grasp, Part 1, the epic return of Apophis. No, he's next episode. The epic return of Skara as Chlorel. He's the one after as well. The epic return of a Gould, the introduction of a Gould mothership, the introduction of Gould sets, a bigger budget for Serpent Guards, and more.
Janushi. The actor was severely typecast since the 80s. Which actor?
The Kenzie.
Braytek.
Nope.
Oh.
The guy you hate. He's the same thing, but it's okay.
Jarzia, $5. It can't cost 175,000 to power it. A freaking 60s truck can charge it with jumper cables in a few minutes. Seen that episode, don't worry, Samuel. Anywho, so are is there 2 more episodes or 3?
No, this is the one. This is the first part, which we're only going to cover today because it is a part 1,
Yes.
and it does end.
Yes.
They didn't actually have season 2 fully planned yet, so. But yeah, Chlorel, they steal. They the Stargate is being deactivated, but they steal stuff and they risk everything to go to this base. Turns out it's a ship. What did you think? I'm glad I didn't know that this was going to happen, because this is like, when I first saw this, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. What do you think?
It is amazing. Like I said, the sets are fantastic.
Yeah.
I do like that they have Stargates on ships.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Although they can't dial into them while they're moving.
Because they've got
Also
no point of
makes
origin.
sense.
I mean, there's nowhere to dial to and from.
Yeah. Yeah, also makes sense. This thing's kind of a sloppy system. We need to fix those Stargates, I'm telling you.
Well, you're not meant to move them. I mean, you put them down, they stay there for 1,000 years.
But too bad. Fix them.
Okay.
Before we get into it, Tangerine Star 26, 2 pounds. Kenzie wants to privatize the SG. No open oversight.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember where part 1 ended then.
Oh, it ends when you see Earth. They come out of hyperspace at Earth, and Chlorel's like, look. And there's Jupiter. So they reveal the mothership. And yeah, and they've captured those 2. The other 2 are still in the hangar bay thing. And Chlorel's like, and he's kind of like chatting to him, like, look, O'Neill, I'm sort of still scarred, but not really. And we're now at your home. You're gonna die, bitch! Oh yeah, then we pan out of the ship, we see the scale of it. The mothership, we see the second mothership in the distance, and it's like, dum 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 dum. There's 2. Because 1 was powerful enough to take out in the other universe, but they got 2! There you go, sorry. Part 1's stealth, part 2 is destruction, basically.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, we watched these ones back to back, obviously, and this was actually pretty intense. So this was like best of both worlds. They didn't have a part 2. Damn, didn't know that.
Well, no. They knew that. They didn't know where the season was going to go. Like they wrote, like they knew roughly where they were going, but obviously they weren't commissioned for a second season, you know. But yeah, they knew.
No, this episode's great. This episode's great, and then you get the kid back again. I forget his name. Goddamn.
Skara and Chlorel.
There you go. I love how there's hints of them still around, but not really. Yeah, this is. I don't know what else to say about this one because part 2's better.
Well, part 2 is good because all the budget to build the sets was part 1, and then part 2 they get to do other stuff in the sets and build more sets. Yeah. So obviously it benefits from the extra stuff. I
love how they didn't know where the SG team was, though.
Yeah.
We can't dial the gate.
Yep.
We don't know where they are. Yep. Are they on another planet? Like, nope, they're on their way to you. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, the reveal of it's a ship is just genius.
Yeah.
Because you think it's going to be like every other episode. They're going to Stargate in, they're going to attack some people. It's a base, great. Oh, it's a ship. Like that's the sci-fi bit that obviously we both like the ships. It's like that's a good. Hartark's a great looking ship. And the art design's great. It's so Egyptian but tech. I love the Ford console that's in this picture. I love it. I think Skara Chlorel's great in this. Really well acted. The Apophis on a big giant floating ball.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. I forgot
long range
about
communication. The stealth is fun. Just the incremental reveals is great. Although there's a little bit of a problem with this one with Tilk. So Tilk, obviously, he was first prime of Apophis.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was the top guy, and in this episode he's like, this ship can only go this fast. Oh no, it must be this other type of ship. And it's like, you served in the ships for like 10 years. You know exactly how fast they are. You're also the first prime. He's so because obviously it's the first time we see it. It's new to us. But he should, like, it'll take several weeks to get to Earth. It takes a day. You know the speed of these ships, you idiot. You're on them, like, 2 weeks before you were piloted. But that's because they didn't know yet. I get that, it's fine. It's just, like, he seems stupid even though he would know, and he also knows these ships really well. This is the only class of ship in the fleet that's a battleship. This is like the Star Destroyer of the fleet. There's one class of ship. You know these ships well. The same ship. They mass produce the hell out of them.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm passionate. No, and honestly, this is a great best of both worlds comparison. But I think easily these two are better than best of both worlds. Like, Best of Both Worlds does not hold up. The Locutus is fine, but all the scenes are better here. It's so focused, so much good character stuff. Especially part 2 where you get the, getting shot and getting killed and Apophis coming in and all these, like, it's so good. So much thought. There's such a good 2 parts. It's a good movie. Like, this could have been a movie. Legitimately a movie, TV movie, but it's a movie level quality for the time.
And just so lucky that Daniel did what he did. That's all I have to say.
Yep. Lot of luck.
Even though that frustrated me to no end. Like, don't touch that. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, the ownership is bigger. No, I mean, you've also Devereaux. You've also got Apophis' flagship, Anubis' flagship. But they're the specials. And technically, you've got the Sokar, then Apophis, improved mothership, which is then destroyed before it's launched. There's 3 big ones. But that's me being a, as you said at the start, nerd. How dare you call me a nerd?
By the way,
yes,
I officially want a staff weapon. And by the way, I don't like the Zat gun.
Well, we can talk about it now. I know we teased that earlier. Why, Stuart? And guys, we're almost at the end here, so I'd love to see another $25 super chat, discluding Olivia. 25 is not a lot to ask for. So seriously, ask some questions for Stuart. Would love to have some questions on season 1. We're not necessarily going to go back to it. So, but yes, Stuart, why do you not like the Zat guns? The Zat Nicotel, to be precise.
Because Olivia Jolie's put in $5.
That is a good reason. I mean, she was always going to do that, and
150 likes, 134 people are watching. Can we get to 175? Probably not. It was worth a try. Kevin hit like it. Anyway, love the staff weapons. The Zat guns, I hate the design of them. They look stupid. I have one here. I got one at Wonderfest for Sylvia a few years ago.
Yes,
that I was
I
supposed
remember.
to paint.
You never did.
I can't find it. I don't know where it is. It's back there somewhere. I got to dig it out. It's put away in a storage bin. They're uncomfortable to hold, and it looks like a penis at the front when it does its open thing. And the rules are stupid. 1 to stun, 2 to kill, 3 to disintegrate. But there's very unclear. So if I get hit by one, 5 years later, I get stunned by another one, am I going to die? Because I got hit twice? Those are dumb rules. And if somebody running towards you, all you want to do is, like, you want to kill them, let's say, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're running towards you. You shoot them, they fall down behind like a log.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hit them the second time, so they're only stunned. That's dumb. Just have a phaser. Have a setting. Dead, not dead. And what happens if you're facing something that's a big beast? Like in Star Trek where they try to phase it or like stun it, and it's like they got to crank up the stun a bit.
Yeah.
Crank up the stun because it keeps coming. What happens in that case? You keep zapping it and then hope that you don't kill it because you don't want to kill it necessarily. It's dumb. It's dumb. I don't like them. Sorry.
Anything else?
Probably. I can't think of anything right now. What's your response?
I love them. I love them to bits. I think everything about them is so good. I think the design is expert. It's so Egyptian-y. It's so elegant. It's so organic. It looks like a snake popping out rather than a penis. But fine. I mean, you've only held the closed one, so I don't think you can really judge.
No, I've got an open one.
You got an open one?
It's an open one. It's not a closed one.
Okay, because I've held a real one, and they're not uncomfortable. I think replicas obviously vary, because those ships are really hard to get right. So I've held a real one, and they're perfectly comfortable. Actually, kind of they're weird to point, but that's okay. I think it's a premise.
It would be like the Cardassian weapons when we held those. I always thought those would be uncomfortable to hold, but when we held them, they're very, very, very comfortable.
I still can't wrap my head around that. It's a shitty shape. Why is it so good? No, I love the idea. I mean, the Gould stole tech, and also they are about dealing with either other Gould who have the same exact tech or lower races. This weapon, it unconsciouses you and causes pain. So therefore, you want to just use lightning out of your hand to make someone go depending how whatever. Like, it's a terror weapon. or just kill them. It's very. I mean,
Yeah.
you can shoot it like within a second. It's a very, very quick fire weapon. So killing 2 shots in the same like. So there's no reason to not, if you want to kill them, just boom, boom, dead, boom, boom, dead, boom, boom, very, very quick. The timing of it is fair, but it's a common sense thing of just the energy just dissipates. You know, there's only so much energy it can utilize. So I would say a couple of hours max. So no, 5 years obviously not.
We're just being facetious when I said that.
No, I know, but I mean it'd be weird to say after 1 hour you're fine. Well, what about for a 6 foot tall guy versus a 3 foot tall woman? I mean, these things are different. What if the guy's got armor? It's energy, so that would absorb some of it. So you can't say. I'm sure a guy in a full Jafar armor would be much more resilient than a naked guy. So it's varied. You are right about bigger beasts, but at that point, the Gould would bring something else. They have other things they could use, or just like shoot its legs with a staff weapon. I mean, there are other things they would use necessarily, or just kill it. The Gould aren't known for subtlety.
True. Just don't know why the humans would use it necessarily.
Well, because it's an easy stun. Like nothing else. I mean, a gun kills or maims. A Zat stuns any humanoid. 1 shot. Perfect. And stealth weapon, it can kill. It needs no recharge and no reload, so you have an instant kill weapon, and you can disintegrate to remove evidence instantly. And you can also start fires with it technically with it does at once with like a fire pit. So it's a no recharge, no recycle, infinite shot. At least you can't run out of battery, and it's big and goes small, so it's easy to put in a holster. And they're resilient. They're not going to break because they're made of sci-fi Necron tech. So it's a You know what I mean? It's a very useful weapon.
I get it, but I still prefer the staff weapon. Staff's cool.
No, they are, and again,
they open.
Yeah, and that's a great example of the movie prop was brilliant. So they just made the movie prop.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Canon, good. Use it.
We got a super chat, a great super chat, $50 super chat from Jonathan Erdman. So thank you very much, Jonathan. Much appreciated.
That was for the costume, wasn't it, Jonathan? Kicking butt. Thank you. Damn.
Stargate needs to get the BSG reboot. It doesn't even need to be a reboot. Just continue the wonderful universe that they created. Revisit old allies and enemies. Why does the United States Air Force only have ships? Could you imagine the United States Navy or Army Stargate division?
Yes. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Or Space Force division.
No, yeah.
Sorry, had to.
Stargate's also probably the best show for evolution of tech. They go from being 4 people walking around a forest to a fleet of 5 spaceships that can take on the world or the universe.
Yeah.
And it's completely organic and natural. They find the tech, they develop it, they build, they iterate until they get to the end. Like it's absurdly clever, as if it's been planned, and it wasn't. No other show has ever done that, and will ever do that probably.
We missed a super chat. Ooh. Sorry, I didn't mean to miss that, Jimmy, out there. $5. I always took Teal'c's lines in this to be referring to older pyramid ships, and that these Hataks were new, and perhaps they were new to Teal'c.
The problem is we see the fleet of old ships in old episodes, and also these are also the old motherships. Like the new Hataks come in like 2 years. I know why you're saying that, but I doubt it. And besides, you wouldn't 4 weeks to 2 days is a bit exponential. Because you talk about it as if it's a cargo ship speed, and yeah, I know. Because he thought he was on a cargo ship, and then he realized he wasn't. But he would also know better instantly. He could have thought it was on Al-Kesh. They're slower, but hyperspace is pretty quick depending on what ship. Like the speed of hyperspace is pretty universal. It's not like, a mothership isn't going to be. An Al-Kesh is pretty fast compared to a mothership. Yeah, thanks, man. That's awesome.
Tanushi, €2. SGC is basically an expedition.
Yeah.
You missed a previous super chat. Oh my god, what did I miss?
Well, hey, let us know and we will...
I'm going back and looking.
I don't see it. I don't see it. It might not have come through. Can you see it?
No, it looks like we've read them all. I mean, I almost missed Streamer out there, but I saw his regular chat.
No, it must have
And
been.
no, it wasn't just because there was a $50 one that came in, as he said. We read them all, so I mean, just sometimes it's my bad. Sometimes they get ahead of me, but
So there you go, Stuart. Season 1. So your standouts are the Mirror Universe and the Frozen in Ice.
Solitudes, yeah.
And your least favorite is Nox, which I'm a bit confused about, but that's okay. And the other one was the.
The one I didn't like?
Yeah, the other. Yeah.
Where is it here?
Was the Cassandra one?
Yes, Solitudes, I think.
No. Maybe.
Or Singularity, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, Singularity. I didn't enjoy that one.
I get why. I get why. But as an overall, then, Stuart, how would you rate first season of Stargate?
Good, very good, amazing. I'm looking forward. Well, like I said, I'm almost through season 2, and it does get better in season 2. And they do a lot of Star Trek premises better. But at the same time, you know, unfortunately, in my brain, I'm always going to compare stuff like that. When I see similarities, it's going to be, you know, who did it better. But yeah, they've really the attention to detail, like I said, the props, the sets, the makeup, it's all fantastically done, and the acting's fantastic. They got a good set of characters. It's lightning in a bottle, I think.
Yep, and considering it's based off a movie reboot.
Yeah,
like that doesn't happen. Oh, what do you think of the General Hammond? Because we haven't mentioned.
Love General Hammond. Love him. Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell he's just such a good guy, can't you?
Yeah.
Just such a good. Like you want every Air Force guy to be like that. He's just such a good guy.
Yeah, I like him. I like the Doctor. I like they got like a Chief O'Brien guy, like a tech guy that's always helping them out with stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Siler.
Yeah. The one thing I don't like is that they always yell, "Chevron 1 engaged." Or
Encoded.
Encoded. Yeah, it's just stop yelling. For fuck's sakes. I can see it's locked. Thank you very much. It's the military for you.
Yeah. It's
Olivia Julius, $5, 160 likes. If we don't get 15 more, the commander is going to throw me into the brig. Not me this time.
But guys, I want to see the 175. We have enough people to get that many likes. I definitely want to see many likes. No, I think, like I said, Lightning in a Bottle as well, the cast, they're all strong and they're all characterful and they're all great actors and they're all diverse. But this show treats its cast like a true ensemble and gives everyone stuff to do. Everyone gets episodes about them. Everyone gets episodes. You know, it really was ahead of its time. Like they just were good writers. And they knew what they were doing. And yeah, season 2 is definitely a step up, but it just builds on season 1.
But they had Star Trek to learn from. Lots of Star Trek.
Yeah, sure. Why not? But as a premise, it's one of the best premises. You know, alien gate lets you go through the galaxy. It's such an open-ended premise. It's good stuff. 5 likes on. 10 more likes.
There,
10 more likes.
Yeah, Dreamer out there, $2. Don S. Davis died on my birthday.
Oh.
Take it that's Hammond.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a bad day.
Yeah. Eugene, 250 rubles. So have you planned the date for Lower Decks? Good Shepherd review. Ooh.
I guess we'll have to.
That'll be this week. It'll be this week because it starts the week after Lower Decks. So maybe Tuesday and Thursday.
I mean, they're not going to relate to it at all because that's not what it is. But tonally, yeah.
We'll consider it.
Yeah.
Take it under advisement.
Yeah.
Matthew K, $5.
Thank you.
Sergeant Siler is RDA's stunt double and stunt coordinator.
Yep, that's the
Richard Dean Anderson.
Yeah. That's the guy that always helps out rather than the guy that sits in the chair. Yeah, he's the guy that literally was a stunt double sometimes. He does some of the stunts. Yeah, he was a coordinator and he was a stunt guy for a lot of years. And then they said just look. You might as well be in the shot. You're already here waiting, be in the shot, and then they made him a character and they make jokes around him, and there's
Was he the guy that was cutting the thing that was impaled through O'Neill in the one episode of season 2? Okay, that's the guy I'm thinking of. That's the Chief O'Brien, I call him.
Yeah.
Or the Billy. Because in TOS there's Billy Blackman, who's in like 56 of the fucking episodes. He should have been a regular cast member, but it's always fun there's Billy. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's Like I said, there's a lot of he's like a tiny joke because he's always on set. He has to be as a stunt coordinator, so they put him in lots of things, and there's lots of very small jokes about him, and there's some really good payoffs like 8 years later, just cause, you know, just cause it's great.
Thor was an alien puts in $2. Stargate SG-1 is my favorite show of all time. There you go.
I mean, like I said, it's probably got the best like set for 10 seasons. Easily the best batting average of any sci-fi. You know, like Farscape has an first season, fourth season, great 2, amazing 3. TNG is 1, 2, good 3, good 4, good 5, 6, 7. That's a lot of less good. Season 1 is the worst season of TNG, and you just watch the worst season, Stuart. That's the worst season. That's it. Season 6 not as good. Season 8 not as good. As in to the other seasons, but this is the worst season.
There's still got to be an episode or two in there that are just like, oh, no.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But they're few and far between. I mean, this show is average is much higher, and you've seen most of the worst ones in this season.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everything's like an 8, but it rarely like dips below a 5. Like the average is annoyingly high, really. I'm trying to think, what other stinkers are there? I don't know. You get the impression they might have written the entire season before they started filming, and they just planned it all through, and that they would like have really good ideas and flesh them out, and then think about multiple season arcs and stuff. Yeah, there isn't many bad ones. But yeah, so who is going to be the last?
Jill was.
Super chat. Jill was? Oh. Okay.
Thor was an alien. She's got it. Unless somebody else wants to get it. But we should probably do a countdown.
But Stuart, would you say success?
Absolutely.
And thanks, guys.
What, this show or
this live? Because it's definitely out of our, out of our repertoire. Yeah. Well, your repertoire anyway.
Mine, yeah. Olivia Julius, $1. Jill, $2. Sam never told us his most and least favorites.
Good question. Well, what do you think? Based on, I gave you as I went. What do you think my least and most favorites are? Say 2, like I did for you.
Let's see. You didn't. Okay, Emancipation is one of your least favorites.
I'm just gonna let you say them all, then I'll respond.
Oh, okay. So Emancipation is one of your least favorites. I'd say Thor's Hammer is one of your favorites, as is There But By the Grace of God. So those are probably your favorites, the top 5 anyway. And another one you didn't like, The First Commandment is your least favorite.
Give or take, Yeah, I'm like I said, one of the ones I didn't see when I was young don't stand out as much, but I think they're more generic. Yeah, First Commandment, the one with the SG team going rogue, and the Blue Alien one. Those 2 I just don't need to watch. Favorite, I think, as a one-off is going to be the Alternate Universe one. I think as a one-off, it's incredible for season 1. I prefer watching the season finale because you watch as part of the 2-parter, and it's an incredible 2-parter, but it's not a one-off episode, so that can't, you know what I mean? But that's a better episode, I think, just as a 2-parter. But yeah, Thor's Hammer is absolutely up there as like a, if it's not a big Gould episode, then that would be the other best one, for sure. But I have a soft spot for the Tolan episode, Tin Man, and the Solitude one, yeah. But it means that one's not fun to watch. Like I always enjoy watching the Mirror Universe one because everything's fun in it. I always enjoy watching the last one because the ship, the tech, all this expansion of the universe is like, oh, I love the ships. Makes me so happy.
Olivia Julius throws in $1.
Damn.
Then she throws in $10.
Woo!
Please hit like. I don't want to sleep in the brig. They outfitted it with Trekyards themed pillows. The same pillows you can buy from the Teespring store. Those are fantastic pillows. So.
And our faces glow in the dark, and so they'll always be watching you.
Tangerine Star 26, £2. Emancipation is my least favorite. Too on the nose.
I think the acting is good in that one, and it's a more cohesive story. But it is on the nose, but I think it is a better episode. Guys, 2 more likes. Come on, 2 more likes. 2 more.
2 more likes, and Olivia Julius has the last slot again.
Must be the case, yeah.
So 2 more likes. If you haven't hit like
2
yet,
more.
there's 2 of you out there that haven't hit it.
And Stuart, are you doing your Lower Decks first reaction sometime in the next weekend?
Yeah, I might do it tonight, actually. I'm not sure yet, unfortunately. I was planning to do it last night. Just didn't quite work out. But yeah, I do want to talk about it. So I'll schedule it ahead of time. You'll have a little bit of notice. So just an hour or 2.
I enjoy watching those too, so.
Oh, well, there you go then. Now I have to do it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I got a really great thumbnail for it. So.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week for more bits and bobs. And I guess Lower Decks is the week after. Hot damn.
It starts August 6th.
We'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.